The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, this is TV1 News. I'm Jasmine Aerojak.
And I'm Maricela Kelaton. I'll join you later in the bulletin with the sporting details.
In this edition, PNG-TUC hits at government, Family Sexual Violence Unit under stress, and Judah Rimbu's efforts noticed.
The People's Party has officially reaffirmed its commitment to remain in the Pangu Party-led coalition government and will vote against the vote of no confidence on Prime Minister James Marape this Thursday. Members of the parliamentary wing, led by the founder of People's Party, Chief Sir Peter Ipatas, announced this in a media conference at Hilton Hotel yesterday afternoon. The parliamentary wing members include Deputy Leader and Member for Talasia, Freddie Reo Kumai, Member for Jimmy Wig Goy, and Enga Governor Sir Peter Ipatas. More than 300 households in the Gawi local level government, Wasera Gawi district, and East Sepik province have received vital supplies from the International Organization for Migration, funded by USAID Bureau of Humanitarian Assistance.
The International Organization for Migration, funded by USAID Bureau for Humanitarian Assistance, recently distributed vital supplies to 350 households in the Gawi local level government, Wasera Gawi district in East Sepik province. The intervention, undertaken in partnership with the East Sepik Provincial Disaster Center, provided the much-needed assistance to 1,596 people that were formerly displaced by an earthquake and flooding. The items distributed include basic shelter construction tools, kitchen utensils, and water, sanitation, and hygiene supplies. One member of the community said that the disaster caused several damages to their community. Several families are still rebuilding their homes and will find these assistance materials useful. Despite challenges such as the remoteness of the target communities, the IOM and East Sepik Provincial Disaster Center teams successfully navigated logistical obstacles, ensuring the delivery of assistance to the most vulnerable communities. The collaborative efforts of local volunteers, service providers, and government authorities were key to the operation's success. Maricela Kelaton, TV1 News.
The Papua New Guinea Trade Union Congress has called on the government not to pass the Kumul Consolidated Holdings Authorization Amendment Bill Act 2002, tabled in Parliament by Minister William Duma last session. Presidents and members of the PNG-TUC gathered today and demanded that the bill will be removed.
Acting General Secretary for PNG-TUC, Antony Sekum, when addressing the media today, says the proposed Kumul Consolidated Holdings Authorization or Amendment Bill Act 2002 duplicates the law on the rights and responsibilities of trade unions and therefore must not be passed by Parliament. Mr. Sekum pointed out that Section 41 of the National Constitution also gave effect to the right to freedom of assembly, which includes the right to hold meetings, protests, and rallies. He said this legislation amendment is viewed as an attack on the right to strike by the trade union fraternity in general.
Our demand stands. The government must withdraw this bill, the KCHL Amendment Bill, immediately on the next sitting of Parliament.
Mr. Sekum reiterated that the Kumul Consolidated Holdings Authorization Amendment Bill Act 2002 only heightens the likelihood of wildcat strikes more so than dealing with strikes in a controlled environment. A wildcat strike is a strike action undertaken by unionized workers without union leadership's authorization, support, or approval. It is a sudden strike without any warning by the workers and often without the official support of the unions.
Members can collectively just walk off their job. And the perfect example is what happened on January 10th, this year. Police personnel walk off their jobs without union officials' approval, without unions organizing the walk off. This is a classical perfect example that I'd like to point the government to see.
Meantime, General Secretary of Public Employees Association Ugvalubu Mowana begged Mr. Sekum and threatened that if the government passed the bill in Parliament, all the union members would resort to other means.
And let me put it very straight to the government today, that if this bill, sponsored by Honorable William Duma, goes through, we will damage all the rules within the environment that controls the strikes.
President of PNG Banks and Financial Institution Workers Union, Ralph Vayalaka, also condemned the bill and called for a fair dialogue with the union members before bringing the bill to Parliament. He said there was no consultation done.
So you cannot blame whatever you are facing to the unions. You cannot blame whatever you're facing to the workers. You are infringing into their right. And so please have it repealed.
Minister Duma in the last session of Parliament clarified that the primary objective of the proposed amendment is to formulate legal solutions that will recognize and balance the rights of workers to go on strike so that the legally mandated duty of SOEs to operate efficiently, profitably, and with social responsibility is not compromised to the disadvantage of the end users of the essential services. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
The Papua New Guinea Trade Union Congress has called on the government not to pass the Kumul Consolidated Holdings Authorization Bill Act 2002, tabled in Parliament by Minister William Duma last session. Presidents and members of the PNG TUC gathered today and demanded that the bill be removed.
Now, if the government is serious about the people of this country, especially the workers that drive the mechanisms, get rid of this bill now.
Good and very draconian that we won't have any third-party involvement there. It's us and the employers, which is the KCHL. And if you don't have this third party, there won't be any negotiation. We'll be staying on our own end. They'll be doing their own thing. So our appeal is please remove those bills.
The Family and Sexual Violence Unit in Papua New Guinea is not resourced to fully carry out its responsibilities, says the Director Superintendent Delilah Sandeka. Sandeka said this when testifying at the Commission of Inquiry into the January 10th civil unrest yesterday at the APEC House in Port Moresby.
When testifying at the Commission of Inquiry into the January 10th civil unrest at the APEC House in Port Moresby yesterday, the Director of Family and Sexual Violence Unit, or FSV, Superintendent Delilah Sandeka said, since the establishment of the Directorate in 2009, the unit has not been resourced. Superintendent Sandeka said there is no proper standard operating structure to guide the operations of the Directorate. She said when she took office, she created policies and guidelines and established a standard operating structure, of which a document with visions and recommendations was sent to the RPNGC Human Resource Division, but is yet to be included in the ALESCO system.
Sent to DPM?
Yeah.
And since it's approved, I don't know what the procedure is there. They're still waiting for it to be uploaded to our RPNGC ALESCO system.
Sandeka said there is only one main unit in Port Moresby located at Goroka Police Station and 9 units in various police stations in the city, with about 54 units in the 11 provinces of PNG, excluding TVWAN. Only 106 police officers are working in those units. In Port Moresby, there are currently 21 officers and only 3 police officers are working in Goroka, while others are working in other police stations in the city. Often, only 1 police officer is stationed in 1 unit.
Directorate where I'm seated is the only one here in NCD. In terms of family sexual violence units, we have about 54 family sexual violence units across the country.
She said the main objective of establishing units in all provinces is to be accessible to victims of family and sexual violence. However, with limited space, FSV units are often set at the back of a police station. She said many times victims are turned away when they are addressed by an angry receptionist at the front desk. Due to the sensitivity of their issues, they often shy away. This is one of the many challenges they are faced with.
PSC allocated a space inside the police station, but it's right at the back inside, and women, even children and men who are victims of domestic violence find it hard to access that because policemen at the counter would question them.
Superintendent Sandeka said there is no system in place to keep a record of the number of cases they receive, but assured the inquiry that they receive a lot of cases. The director said that currently there is a need for funding to operate this unit and a need for more manpower to manage and run this unit. She added that should the standard operating structure be approved and included in the RPNGC ALESCO system, it will uplift the standard of this directorate. Ruth Rongola, TV1 News.
The Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary Dog Unit in NCD is the only unit that is functioning, while the rest of the units in the 5 provinces are non-functional. This was revealed at the RPNGC Commission of Inquiry.
The 6 dog units located in Rabaul, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Ley, Wewak, and Medang at their current stage are not functioning, according to the Director of Dog Unit, Acting Superintendent Daniel Yagen. He said the only unit that is operating is the unit attached in Port Moresby. This was made known during the Commission of Inquiry into the January 10th civil unrest today in Port Moresby. He said there are about 76 police officers and 23 trained dogs in the directorate. These dogs are trained neither from overseas or trained at Bomana Police College. He said they are trained in the category of crowd control to search for criminals, drug search, and firearm detection, which includes the search for explosive and ammunitions. He said with the increased crime rate, especially the illegal trade of drugs and ammunition in the country, the deployment of these dogs is needed. However, these dogs are not deployed to outside provinces due to reasons that are kept within the RPNGC hierarchy. Yagen said currently at the establishment units, there are only kennels for dogs, but no dogs attached, with less than 2 police officers managing these units.
I have 2 members currently working, but no dogs, police dogs.
The director added that since taking office, he intended to expand the directorate to provinces that do not have a dog unit, but due to lack of funding, he was unable to do so.
In the position for almost 2 years, and it was like that, so I plan to extend dog units to those provinces and others as well.
Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
You're watching TV1 News. Salvation Army Goroka Primary marks independence with celebration. We'll have those stories and more when we come back.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSP Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase easy pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Laga, Bungimyumi.
Open nets.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Fine PNG made.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young plana lapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
Welcome back. From 13 to 15 September, the Goroka show will be held in Goroka town, Eastern Highlands province. The show is a significant cultural event in the Highlands region and is also the longest-running annual cultural festival in Papua New Guinea, drawing thousands of tourists to the country every year in September during the week of the nation's Independence Day celebrations. Yesterday, Lufa District made a significant contribution of 20,000 kina towards the cultural festival.
Lufa District of the Eastern Highlands Province on Tuesday, 11 September, made a significant contribution of 20,000 kina to support the hosting of the 2024 Goroka show. Lufa District Chief Executive Officer Demo Imara, on behalf of Member of Parliament Simo Kilepa, presented the check yesterday afternoon to Goroka show chairlady Karen Hargreaves. Imara said as a district, it is committed to supporting one of the longest-running shows in the country, as it allowed the Lufians to also display their culture as well as generate income for the people.
Significant roles which are playing every year. One, I bring him all tourists come inside, and I give him creating this income along all business houses. Time mama papa comes all lucky face or buying and put him really one thing go back to a pocket long all. Number two, I'm promoting this black culture, passing to Mona long before the so emission kirapim now all plenty or yanta man Mary or go inside Chin Villas. This plan me kirapim the Sindani move through passing to Mona inside long one all beginning long. Number three, anytime special events where all family always have a solution place is in Marlo na come one time family around inside also.
Goroka show chairlady expressed gratitude and was thankful for the support. She said together with additional support from the private sector, the committee will stage a 3-day show that will be memorable for all.
And they blow beginning, over bilas ikam na showing culture of all. And one per day where me plala line mo beginning lo sawen lo tumbuna passing. Now mas proud lo tumbuna passing long. Saturday, Sunday, and main show 150 singing group from all over Papua New Guinea or by kam na perform lo tupla day. Me got fireworks lo Friday night, lo Peace Park, and me free. I walk at the line and welcome lo come and lo family Now, all visitors, yumi lo come inside the Goroka to lo talk. Welcome to Goroka show. So mipla opening on the fireworks.
This year's edition of the Goroka show is the 68th. Maricela Kelleton, TVWAN News.
Madang police are set and geared up for the independence operations, starting with footbeat patrols within the settlements and compounds as a show of presence. Police will also conduct law and order awareness within communities during independence. Upon patrolling through the DCA, Govstoa and Kerama compounds for their first run of awareness, they noticed youths acting suspiciously in their presence, and from body reactions portrayed, the policemen stumbled onto youths who had been hiding homemade arms and weapons, illicit drugs and homebrew. This foot patrol resulted in 5 suspects being apprehended and now in police custody. Police in Madang province want the Independence weekend leading up to Monday, Independence Day, to be respected and celebrated in peace. A stern warning is also issued to the general public to respect one another during this period, and is advising the public stop any loud music and noise by 10 p.m. or deal with police officers.
My men of the security forces. But otherwise we will be doing our normal, going through our normal line of duty.
Thank you.
At Goroka Salvation Army Primary School, excitement filled the air as students gathered to celebrate Papua New Guinea's 49th independence anniversary. The entire school had been present, eagerly participating in the day's festivities, which began with the flag raising ceremony. The national colors of red, black and gold had waved proudly in the morning breeze, with students standing tall, their faces glowing with pride. Teachers, parents and students dressed in vibrant traditional attire, showcasing the rich diversity of PNG's cultures. Throughout the day, the school had come alive with songs, dances and speeches, all reflecting on the country's journey since gaining independence in 1975. Students performed traditional dances honoring the heritage while looking ahead to a brighter future. The celebration had culminated with everyone singing the national anthem, their voices ringing out across the school grounds, united in a spirit of patriotism. The National Cultural Commission has renewed its commitment to safeguarding Papua New Guinea's cultural heritage by backing the upcoming Mambu Nagaramut Festival in East Sepik Province.
The National Cultural Commission has reaffirmed its support for the Mambu Nagaramut Festival, an event aimed at preserving the cultural heritage of East Sepik Province. NCC Executive Director Stephen Kilanda, in a press conference, emphasized the festival's role in preserving cultural identity, noting that festivals like Mambu Nagaramut are vital for keeping traditions alive and showcasing the uniqueness of our nation, which boasts over 800 different cultures.
Identity, they know that the culture is the backbone of the country and the province as well. And we live with our culture. I think our way of life in our respective provinces at the village level, community level, we are living with our cultures.
The Mambu Nagaramut Festival, which began in 2005, honors 2 iconic traditional instruments from the Momase region, the Garamut slit drum and the Mambu bamboo flute. These instruments hold deep cultural significance in the Sepik region, where they are used in community announcements, ceremonies and storytelling. Representing the East Sepik Provincial Government, Acting Protocol Officer Patrick Neck expressed appreciation for NCC's ongoing support.
Our mission through the Division of Culture and Arts is to make Sepik a premier historical and heritage province. So we are seeing our cultural groups from different ethnic groups from the 6 districts in Sepik participating annually.
To reinforce its support, the NCC presented a check of 10,000 kina to the festival organizers, ensuring the continuation of this important event, which highlights the region's traditions and fosters cultural pride. Carol Kidu Jr., TV1 News.
The Kerowagi Cultural Show has been formally recognized by the National Cultural Commission with a certificate of recognition, acknowledging the district's role in promoting and preserving local cultural heritage.
The Kerowagi Cultural Show has gained national recognition, receiving a prestigious certificate of recognition from the National Cultural Commission. This acknowledgement celebrates the district's dedication to preserving and promoting its unique cultural heritage, with key officials present at the event, including Kerowagi Open MP Francis Siune and NCC Executive Director Stephen Kilanda. During the presentation, Kilanda highlighted the challenges faced by the NCC, a small agency tasked with managing cultural preservation across the country, and stressed the importance of working closely with provincial governments and district authorities.
One of the few district development authority that is now coming on board to work with National Cultural Commission. And on that note, member, I would like to take this time to congratulate you and I think your leadership for taking up the initiative to partner with National Cultural Commission to develop and preserve, protect and market our cultural heritage in Kerowagi district.
MP Siune expressed his gratitude to the NCC for the recognition, calling it a milestone for the district. He says that the Kerowagi Cultural Show's registration with the NCC is part of the district's broader efforts to meet national priorities while fostering cultural pride and the community involvement.
Our registration to National Cultural Commission is added value to what we did. So we have trust and confidence in that division, that department, the cultural, National Cultural Commission. So we work together. We work together so that some of our PT of our culture will demonstrate, and we will also going to identify so many unidentified areas. They are isolated. So with this one, it's a step forward. It's a way forward.
This recognition highlights the strong partnership between the NCC and the Kerowagi district, reflecting a shared commitment to celebrating and safeguarding cultural heritage. It marks a significant step forward in promoting local cultural expression and engagement in Kerowagi. Carol Kidu Jr., TV1 News.
We apologize as we do not have the finance report. TV1 News continues after these short messages. Stay with us.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magical cuddle, get up and big smile on face. Time for kim chicken, a great kumutu. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Magic, the taste PNG loves.
All Mama Flame is story all same.
Me say you sing flame flower long one yam. Me say me Kim Kai Kai belong family belong me. You go more yet.
Man belong me save like him flower balls belong me what them kawa war na spring onion. All pikinini belong me save like him to mas pineapple donut me save walk him lo house. Me make kumu mix him what them cow na karamapim long flower.
Tasty hash browns.
Time is scaling one time all harpela kai kai. Me save kissing more kai kai long all get a toya me tromoy one time flame flower.
You in a packing more one time flame flower.
Scale Rise brings to you some Scale Indie vibes this independence. Cashing out a total of 300,000 Kina in prize money around PNG this independence. 4 fortnightly draws, 75 fortnightly winners, 300 total Scale Rise winners, and 1,000 Kina Scale Indie prize for every Scale winner. Here's how to enter the promotion. Buy any Scale or Ori Rice product, write your full name and contact details on the back of the store receipt, drop your entry into the entry box in store. For more information, either check in store or follow us on our Scale Rise PNG page. Terms and conditions apply. Scale Rise, and buy you like it.
Hardware House is more than just a store. It is where quality meets affordability, where culture is proudly celebrated. Spanning 9 provinces, we pride ourselves in offering top-notch customer support and services. We're more than just a store. We're more than a brand. We are Hardware House.
And we're back. In regional news, King Charles III has announced plans to visit Australia and Samoa next month on a trip that will span a dozen time zones and test the monarch's stamina as he recovers from cancer treatment. The 18th to the 26th of October tour, which Buckingham Palace outlined Tuesday, marks a watershed moment for the 75-year-old king. King Charles is slowly returning to public duties after taking a break following his cancer diagnosis in early February. The decision to undertake such a long journey will be soon as a sign of his recovery. The trip will begin in Australia before the King and Queen Camilla travel to Samoa for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, which takes place every 2 years. Although the tour was first announced in July, no dates were released at that time. The health minister has apologized for the cancellation of over 500 surgeries caused by a statewide nurses' strike. Nurses are demanding a 15% pay increase to address staff shortages and prevent migration interstate.
After months of asking for a better deal, nurses are running out of patience.
We've been forced to the streets because this government has ignored us and taken us for granted.
Chris Minns swept to power on a promise to lift nurses' pay and conditions. Today they rallied outside his office to tell him his offer of 10.5% over 3 years just won't cut it.
Oh, it's a kick in the guts. It really is. It does not feel like we're being respected for the professionals that we are.
The Premier wasn't in, but he couldn't escape one nurse's fury on Talkback Radio.
I'm exhausted. I am only doing this protest because we have no other avenue. It's not safe anymore for nurses or patients.
15% for nurses. I think that police and then the teachers and then the corrections officers and then those that work for paramedics would quite rightly knock on my door the very next day and say, well, we want 15% as well.
Nurses took their campaign statewide with a pointed message for those holding the purse strings, defying an order from the Industrial Relations Commission to halt the strike. The government says 3,813 staff walked off the job, meaning 518 planned surgeries had to be cancelled.
I'm very sorry to anyone who has missed their surgery today or waiting longer.
The minister says he is delivering on a key union demand for nurse-to-patient ratios, but the opposition says the government overpromised before the election.
This is what happens when you're two-faced.
The government and nurses will return to the negotiating table on Thursday.
New laws regulating Queensland's fertility industry have been passed, including the establishment of a donor conception register. This comes amid intense scrutiny from the state opposition over a significant backlog in forensic testing.
Relief after a long fight for change as legislation passes Queensland Parliament to crack down on the fertility industry.
Too many families have been affected by a lack of regulation when it comes to IVF, and we need to ensure that this does not happen again.
A licensing system will be introduced next year with non-compliant facilities to be shut down. A donor conception register will also be set up.
This gives us the ability to access information and to get our genetic truth, to create our identity, to get our medical information.
Meanwhile, the LNP used one of the final question times before the state election to focus on forensic testing in Queensland. 2 inquiries have been held into failures at the state-run lab, leading to thousands of criminal cases needing to be reviewed and a backlog of testing.
Media reports have revealed the backlog of rape kits at Queensland's DNA lab is 20 times the size of Victoria, with hundreds of Queensland rape victims waiting more than a year for critical evidence to get justice.
Since the effort to address that backlog commenced, the number of cases outstanding has been reduced by some 3,500 in the last 6 months.
Following the inquiries, an advisory council was appointed to oversee forensic services. The state opposition has promised, if elected, it will appoint whistleblower scientist Dr. Kirsty Wright to head a review into reforms at the forensics lab.
We're looking at a broken lab looking to catch up on 15 years worth of criminal cases, and that's simply an impossible task. So I'll be looking at a whole range of options.
Dr. Wright, who spoke out about failures at the lab, wasn't selected for one of the 11 positions on the advisory council.
Children could be banned from accessing social media. The Prime Minister is pledging to legislate a minimum age by the end of the year. The idea has, in principle, support across the political aisle, but the opposition is criticizing the government for announcing the policy before finalizing how it will work. From Canberra, political reporter Matthew Doran has more.
For high school students like Zoe, Georgia and Laura, being on social media is second nature.
In society nowadays, there's a lot of FOMO, a lot of fear of missing out.
But the pitfalls are also well known.
I have a private account and I only really look at what my friends are putting out online.
I know quite a few girls that I am friends with who have had very negative experiences with social media.
It can be used as a weapon for bullies, a vehicle for scammers, worst of all, a tool for online predators.
The Albanese government wants an age limit enforced, restricting access to apps for Australian kids.
We are seeking to be the best in the world.
Although it's yet to lock in a specific age between 14 and 16 and exactly how it'll do it, trialling the technology needed.
We believe the age limit should be 16, and that's why Peter Dutton announced that back in June.
Over the weekend, the South Australian government revealed its proposal to ban social media. Kids under the age of 14 the target there. The Premier today welcoming a nationwide approach.
By having a uniform rule across the country, every parent can look their children in the eye and say it's not them, this is the law.
Getting kids away from social media when it's become so ingrained could prove difficult.
50% are using it 3 or 4 social media platforms and 25% 5 or more.
But the harm from some of the content shared online remains a powerful driver for change.
There are many anecdotal examples of social media being a driver for somebody's distress getting to such a level that they contemplate suicide.
There's still a lot of detail to be sorted through, from the age limit and how it'll be enforced, to which platforms will be regulated and whether the social media companies will even comply. The government is trying to regulate a wildly unregulated space. And social media companies have voiced stiff opposition in the past when governments have tried to control their operations. And not all are convinced. Streaming channel 6 News, founded and staffed by teens, has found quite a following.
If this ban was in place a couple of years ago, 6 News wouldn't have existed in the first place.
Hopeful the government will strike a balance in an often unbalanced domain.
The 51st Conference of Pacific Islands Chief of Police in Tonga last week underscored growing concerns about increasing geopolitical competition and the emergence of new actors in the Pacific region. The Samoan Police Commissioner, who recently attended the conference, brought these pressing issues to the forefront during the launch of a new law enforcement training program on Monday. The Commissioner highlighted that the Pacific is becoming an increasingly congested and contested space. He said the Pacific is beginning to see new actors coming into the region, such as the United Arab Emirates, and said there is uncertainty about their interests and objectives. Additionally, other countries with deep ties to the Pacific are intensifying their involvement. The PICP conference brought together senior law enforcement officials from across the Pacific to engage in critical discussions. This is TVWAN News. Hunters make first preliminaries since 2017 and PNG RFL commands finalists. Maricela will bring you those stories and more after the break.
These two are creeping into your personal space. Why don't we send them packing? Oh, maybe not.
Bing bang bing. Bum, bum.
Did you know that you can get the latest updates on what's happening on the DTV app? 1. Open the DTV app. 2. Go to the profile on the upper right-hand corner of your screen and scroll down to push notifications. 3. Turn it on and you're good to receive notifications on the latest sports, TV series, and movies. DTV, your TV on the go.
Em asobala yumi, Allah pumbulan tete. Yumi no strong long all passing tumbul. Em all passing tumbul atu iwok long tai isi now.
Tapi Mr. Tu like me or Josephine?
You like him passing long making Mary long man or making man long Mary? Him passing long bipoy.
You just you can push in more do ka couple me. You pushing man.
Now so when long money Mr. give me time start for school, lose nothing.
Horrible you.
After being awarded his doctorate in Australia, John travelled home to his isolated village on the Gira River to celebrate with his own people.
In fact, I have been in school for a long time and I may not know some of the aspects of the traditional customs and so on.
Thanks for staying with us. AFL PNG has announced a train-on squad for the AFL Pacific Cup tournament set for November 18 to 24 at Queensland's Sunshine Coast, Australia. The Port Moresby Premier AFL Association again dominates the squad with few overseas-based players named.
When confirming the squad list and the selection process used to come up with the squad, PNG AFL Senior Manager Community Football, POM AFL, Rex Lecker said apart from the 46-man squad, they have also confirmed 36 women's train-on for the Flames who are also training with the men at the Coles ground. Lecker explained the majority of the male squad was picked from Port Moresby's Premier Moneyplus AFL competition with 7 from Lae and 2 from Kimbe, following the regional trials ran in Port Moresby, Lae and Kimbe over the past month. He said the new look squad would feature majority of the emerging talents who have been consistent and shown great potential to compete at the next level. Lecker said taking them to the Pacific Cup would be a great stepping stone for them as they continue to rebuild the stock around the experienced players in the likes of Paul Phillip, a sole survivor from 2005, alongside John James, Amos Waratowo, Scott Johnson, Amor Pirika, Laurie Logo, to lead the young boys around the park. He said 3 players currently playing in Cairns and Melbourne would also be considered for selection.
We did a few trial games in Lae and in Kimbe, and then we came back here and we brought, Lae was the only one that managed to come down here. Kimbe could not make it, but we did some few testings up there with Alphonse Jambrofo and the PNG Sports Foundation team up there, and then they sent some results down and they gave us a couple of players for both the men and the women's. For Lae, we selected 7 boys on the side. Unfortunately, we could not get any girls as they did not have a women's competition. So most of the girls in the selection for the PNG Flames will all based here in Port Moresby, the POM AFL competition, Moneyplus POM AFL competition, and also for the men as well. They've all been part of the POM AFL 2024 season.
On the PNG women's squad, Lecker said this is the first time again to have the national team since 2017 and still need a lot more work to get them to the required level, but it's still a good starting point. He said they have 36 girls in the squad, which will be trimmed down to 18, similar to the men, before the teams depart for Queensland in early November 2024.
We are looking at 28 so far. as per the playing rules and guidelines. Each country has to come in with register 28 players. So all the countries, both for men and the women. Yeah, so it's going to be a really big task with 46 boys here vying for 28 spots, 36 girls here vying for 28 spots. It's going to be a very, very big task for us. But it's the players that have to step up. We've got other the high performance training as well, which they're going to go through. So all those results put together with their normal training during the week, then we will put all those reports together, and then we can be able to select the best team for the country.
The Pacific Cup will have PNG Mosquitoes competing against Fiji, New Zealand, Nauru, Tonga, and Vanuatu with invitational South African side. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Judah Rimbu has earned back-to-back Host Plus Strong Performer honours after the PNG Hunters hooker played a pivotal role in his side semi-final victory on Sunday. The crafty number 9 has been in best form in 2024, and his effort against the Sunshine Coast Falcons on Sunday was no different.
Singled out by Sunshine Coast Falcons as the danger man, everything Rimbu touched turned into gold, with the PNG international lethal in attack and strong in what was an impressive overall defensive effort from the Hunters. Rimbu's involvement on Sunday could not be missed. He was everywhere and made a huge difference against the Falcons. He barreled over to score from dummy half in the 34th minute and showed off his trademark try celebration.
Ball's on the line, and the referee this time will point to the spot.
He also notched up 163 run meters with 7 tackle busts, 2 offloads and 1 line break, and set the standard in defense with 42 tackles. While he took captaincy honors for the Host Plus Team of the Week, there were several standout performances across the semi-final weekend. Joining Rimbu's Team of the Week are fellow teammates Sonny Wabo, Brandon Nima, Elijah Rotinga, Solowane and Jamie Mavoko. With 2 try assists, Mavoko helped orchestrate the Hunters' victory, stepping up especially when 5'8" Joshua Lau went off with a knee injury. Mavoko recorded 45 run meters, 1 line break assist, an offload, and 1 tackle break, and made 26 tackles. The electric Hunters winger Solowane was integral in Sunday, adding to the all-team effort. He scored 1 try, ran 108 meters, had 4 tackle busts, 1 line break, and an offload, and made 6 tackles. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
The Papua New Guinea Olympic Committee has officially opened nominations for the 2024 Papua New Guinea Sports Hall of Fame. This will be the 8th edition of the event, which honors individuals who have made significant contributions to the development and success of sports in the country. Nominations are open now and will close on Friday, 27 September. To nominate, interested individuals must download the nomination form from the PNG OC website. Once the form is complete, it can be submitted via email to the PNG OC events team or delivered in person to the Olympic House, Lahara Avenue at Port Moresby. This is an opportunity for the public to celebrate the country's sporting legends, athletes, coaches, and administrators who have made a lasting impact on sports in Papua New Guinea. The 45th National Softball Titles in East New Britain is being deferred to October. 10-time reigning champions Port Moresby Women's Gold are not resting on their laurels to maintain their supremacy and continue their legacy as the top women's team in the country.
Port Moresby men's and women's teams would be early favorites for this year's championships, but must have respect for other competing centres such as host Eastern Britain, Lae and Medang, who are capable of causing upsets and must not be underestimated. The 2 Port Moresby women's teams, Pom Gold and Pom Black, are ramping up training, working on their battings and fielding, and getting to gel as a team, with new players being added to the squad this time around. For defending premiers Pom Gold, it's been a long wait for this opportunity to have another crack at defending the title since they last won it back in 2018-2019. Since the squads were announced last week, the teams have been hard at training at the Bicini Diamonds, just going through their paces to fine-tune their game tactics and get their communications and combinations right. PNG's Softball Basketball Confederation President Jenny Parks said Pom Gold has been the benchmark women's team with multiple titles under their belts and remain favorites for this year's championships.
The women have got two teams, Pom Gold and Pom Black. Pom Gold has been the reigning champions for, I think, over 10 consecutive championships. Yeah, they're going back and defend their title. Since they took it out from Lay, when it was in Medang, no one has beat them until now, so they're going back to defend their title. We're hoping that most people can go in there and play their best and come back with the trophy, yeah, as the champions. Yeah.
The home teams Kokopo and Rabaul are looking forward to challenging visiting teams and have been running local competitions as a build-up towards hosting the championships. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
In sports overseas, the Canberra Liberals have proposed a new stadium on the Action waterfront, aiming to replace the aging Bruce Stadium and highlight Canberra's readiness to host world-class events.
Flanked by a Brumbies great and a Canberra United up-and-comer, the Canberra Liberals made a game-changing announcement to build a stadium on the Acton waterfront.
Our city stadium will signal to Australia and the world that Canberra is open for business and open to host world-class events.
The debate over how best to replace the ageing Bruce Stadium has boiled for years. The existing venue often criticised for poor weather protection.
We'll play in cow paddock if we have to, but we need what's good for the fans and the community.
The Liberals spruiking their preferred location as more accessible, given its proximity to Stage 2A of light rail, which the party does back.
There are several stops along that route which will be very easily accessible.
But the site is slated for mixed-use development, including apartments, eateries and parks. The Chief Minister says changing the National Capital Plan could take years.
So a smoother pathway in a precinct that supports a stadium is the AIS Bruce precinct.
It's the second major project the Liberals have committed to in 4 days after announcing a new National Convention Centre. It could make for an expensive term in government if the party also proceeds with existing plans for an upgraded Canberra Theatre precinct and a new Northside Hospital.
In the last 3 days, the Canberra Liberals have spent nearly $1.5 billion on two announcements.
The Liberals say their policy costings will go before Treasury ahead of the election.
Back home, Chairman of RD Group Roy Rivera and the management team arrived in Port Moresby on Tuesday, 10 September from Manila for final negotiations with the state negotiating team to establish a new fishing joint venture between the state and RD. Minister for International Trade and Investment Richard Maru, in his meeting yesterday with Rivera and his team, made it very clear that he wants the framework agreement to be finalized by Friday this week. Minister Richard Maru states that Phase 1 of the project will involve the establishment of a fishing joint venture between the state and RD. The framework agreement will also include Phase 2, which is developing a new Medan Integrated Special Economic Zone. The integrated SEZ will include an international wharf, which will be an alternative to Lay Port to service the highlands because of the Medan Baya Road, a fuel depot for all the purseaners, a slipway and all the associate industries to service the fishing industry, like factories for cardboard and canning. Maru adds that this will be a fully integrated SEZ modeled after Indonesia's Java Integrated Industrial Port Estate. The requirement for capital could be achieved by listing this JV company in the National Stock Exchange so provinces especially coastal provinces and Papua New Guinea's people and institutional investors can invest in this company, so it becomes a PNG-owned integrated business. Minister Maru also made it very clear that there will be no transfer pricing. He stated that Medan Governor Ramsey Pariwa and Minister for Labour and Employment Kessi Sawang are on the state negotiating team, emphasizing the need for Medan locals to benefit from spin-off activities from the PMIZ. Minister Maru commended the Mara Peroso government for the decision to develop the PMIZ in phases and described this decision as an important policy shift. Meanwhile, the state negotiating team led by Chairman Dairi Vele and the RD team will finalize the framework agreement in the next 2 days. And that ends this segment. Over to you, Jasmine.
Thank you, Maricela. And now the weather forecast. Southern, Port Moresby mostly cloudy to few afternoon showers with inland showers and possible thunderstorm, clearing up to partly cloudy. Daru cloudy period with some rain showers drizzles. Kerama cloudy with periods of rain showers. Momase, Lay cloudy periods to possible evening rain showers. Medang partly cloudy. Vanimo mostly cloudy with afternoon rain showers and possible thunderstorm easing to cloudy periods. New Guinea Islands, Lorengau heavy potential rainfall with possible thunderstorm. Kavieng rain showers and possible thunderstorm. Kokopo Rabaul cloudy with periods of rain showers and possible thunderstorm. Buka cloudy periods with few afternoon showers and possible thunderstorm. Highlands, Goroka, Bans and Kundiawa cloudy with few rain showers. Mendi, Tari and Wabe cloudy with some rain showers and possible thunderstorm. Ocean forecast, Coral Sea, seas rather rough to rough with southeast winds of 20 to 33 knots. Solomon Sea, seas rather rough to rough with 20 to 25 knots, reaching 33 knots at times. Bismarck Sea, seas slight to moderate and rough to very rough over the southwest sector, with southeast winds of 10 to 20 knots, reaching 33 to 47 knots. Pacific Ocean, seas slight to moderate with northeast to southeast winds of 10 to 20 knots. Coastal waters forecast. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru to Kiwai Islands to Kerama to Yule Island to Hood Point to Samara Islands. Seas 2 to 2.5 meters rising to 3 meters at times along warning areas. Waters of Finchefan through Vitia Strait to Siasi Long Islands. Seas 2 to 3 meters rising to 3.5 meters at times along gale warning areas. And waters of Manus and its western group of islands. Seas 1.5 to 2 meters rising to 3 meters at times. And that ends the news tonight. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.